except for people who
No.
bet actual serious amounts of money, which luckily I did not. So I don't have to really care too much about that. But no, realistically, that game, I talked to people before um, the game actually started because I was at a Super Bowl party, and I was like, if it is a blowout, it's going to be the Eagles blowing the Chiefs out. It's not going to be the other way around. It just simply isn't. Like, I just don't see that happening with them. So at the end of the day, I wish the game would have been a little bit better ultimately because it obviously it's the biggest game of the year. You want more eyes on it. You want people to enjoy themselves, and obviously I'm sure you two thoroughly enjoyed hate watching the Chiefs get absolutely blasted. But for me, who I don't really hate the Chiefs any more than I hate any other insert great team that is better than my Steelers here, uh, I mostly would have liked a better game. So,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, congrats on the Eagles, or congrats the Eagles. What they did, Philadelphia, I'm sure is burning currently. I'm assuming maybe not at this point.
I
Maybe
forget
they've
when the
recovered.
parade is. I think it's coming up later this
I think
week.
it's Friday.
I mean, the parade that's going to be fine. It's the pre-parade shenanigans
Yeah.
is what always gets them in trouble.
Hopefully,
If
no one
if
buys
we
any
haven't heard
polls.
anything too bad yet, then it's probably
Well, so I did see an edit of a video of the mayor pleading with people to not climb poles, and then it cuts to a video of them just removing a pole from the ground and parading it through the streets. So I guess technically they listened to her, but I don't know if that's what she meant when she said not to do that. I think she just meant don't fuck with the poles at all.
everyone's just gonna wake up on, or they woke up on Monday morning just street poles all over the
Yeah, and it's like,
road.
listen, hey, crosstown, obviously from Pittsburgh, you guys do your thing. You can do whatever you want, I guess, because you won the Super Bowl. Although I don't know if legally you can get away with everything, but they'll probably give you guys a little bit of free will there. But
Yeah.
but let's get into our bets for this week. We're gonna hold off on any like futures for NFL stuff like that. Obviously, very early for that type of stuff, but we'll get into some of that stuff I think here soon. But with Casey not here, we're just gonna focus on what is currently going on in the sports world. So, obviously, where do you guys kind of want to kick things off? Like, we have a couple sports that all of us have gotten bets for. I know there's a couple that each of you have that the rest of us don't. Dalton, I know you have a college wrestling parlay, which I'm assuming Penn State's involved in this. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could.
Not making the mistake of betting against Penn
Yeah, I
State
was gonna
again.
ask how that
was
went because I didn't see how it went, but I kind of had a bad feeling about it when you did it. So,
So Penn State shut out Michigan.
yikes.
And understand, Michigan, number 19 in the country,
Clearly doesn't matter at all.
didn't win a single match the whole meet. And yeah, so they covered 38 and a half.
That's tough.
Which again, that would be like Ohio State playing Illinois
Mhm.
and covering 70.
Not great for Michigan. Not a great look. So, hey,
Like it's wild.
when you're that good, I guess you're that good, right? So, but what do you got for us this time?
All right, so
Penn State.
we got three matches this week. So first one's tomorrow night. We got Lehigh taking on Penn. I'm taking Lehigh minus 3.5.
Okay.
Against Penn. It's got a good program. They have a couple really good wrestlers that I think will really help them get some bonus points. I think the rest of the matches, it'll be pretty close. I can see the split here being like 6-4, maybe even 5-5. But even with that, I think the bonus points could push Lehigh to winning by at least 4.
Right.
And then I've got in the Penn State Ohio State match this week, I've got Penn State minus 21.5 against number 6 Ohio State. So again, Penn State's just different.
Clearly.
But I'm done betting against them. I thought there's no way they're going to cover 38.5 against Michigan. They'll rest some guys. I don't think it matters. I think they have 3 guys at every weight class that can beat most teams' top guy.
Geez.
The discrepancy in talent is just so wide right now. So I think they should have no problem covering 21.5. And then finally we got Iowa and Minnesota. I'm taking Iowa minus 3.5. They failed to cover 6.5 against Nebraska, but Minnesota's not quite as good. And I think Iowa's just going to win way too many bouts. I don't see Iowa losing more than 3 in this duel. So I really think that's going to be the difference. Assuming Gable Stevenson doesn't get like a ton of bonus, doesn't like pin,
Who?
I think Iowa should have a problem covering.
Gable Stevenson? Gable?
Yep.
Huh? No, I don't know.
Oh, so he was in the WWE. Yeah, so Gable Stevenson was like a national champ several years ago at heavyweight. Then he went and was an Olympic champ. Then he went to the WWE for a little bit. And then now he's added WWE, really did not work out. Then he tried out for the Bills and was like on their preseason roster.
Maybe I do remember
like
this then. Maybe.
Yeah, this was just this year, and then that didn't work. So now he's back in college.
Good for him.
I don't know.
Good for him, man. Must have some eligibility left in there somewhere. No, but that's interesting.
College eligibility doesn't make
sense.
It
hasn't made sense for a while, and it certainly doesn't make any more sense than it did a couple years ago.
If you have a good lawyer, you can play college sports forever.
I think that's the takeaway here is like you don't really ever have to get a job. And even if you do get a job, you can just go back to not being you just go back to not having a job. Like that, maybe that's how it works, you know. I don't know what it's like to be a fan of college wrestling. It sounds like if you're not a Penn State fan, it gets kind of, a little bit monotonous probably or a little boring, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, this is still very recent. Like before the last decade, Penn State really, I think, they were a good program, but they weren't an elite program, and now they're the best ever.
So basically, is this like like UConn women's basketball type of deal where there's that stretch of time where UConn women's basketball is like clearly better than everyone else pretty much every year? Is that what kind of Penn State's doing right? But even to a more serious degree.
That was like a 5 or 6 year run, right? Maybe this is over a decade now.
Okay.
Where I think they've only not won the national championship like twice in the last 12 years.
Wow. Well, good for them. Yeah, good for them. That's great. And so that takes care of the college picks here for wrestling for you, Don.
Yeah, those picks they parlay at plus 483. Never actually gave the odds.
All right. And then Jake, I think you had soccer picks, and none of the rest of us, I think, had soccer picks, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me get those for you here. So let's start with that for you then here.
All right. So these are for next Tuesday, Champions League. So a little bit away, but
hey, before our next show though, so that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So we'll know what happened.
So first one, this is just a 4-leg for parlay for all the 4 games on Tuesday. I'm taking a draw between Dortmund and Lisbon. Dortmund they won the first leg. It was pretty close, but Lisbon's a good team. I think they can draw, and Dortmund will still advance to the next round. This is like they do. I don't know what they call it, but like the playoffs in soccer is like each team hosts 1 game, and then it's the final combined score of both those games. This is moves on.
Yeah, it's the aggregate.
Yeah, it's an aggregate scoring system, right?
Yeah. So so they could draw this game and Dortmund would still move on. I think that's what's going to happen because I think Lisbon's obviously going to want to tie things up. But I got a draw for that one. And then I have PSG minus 525 against Brest.
Damn.
Usually I wouldn't bet these odds, but they're going to win this game. I have absolutely no fear in that.
Fair enough.
Then I have Real Madrid money line minus 120 against Man City. Man City is just a shell of themselves right now. They've been free falling pretty much the last 3 months now. They just choked the lead against Madrid earlier this week at home in the last 5 minutes of the game. So I'm going to take Madrid coming back home in the second leg to win that one. And then finally, I have PSV Eindhoven money line at plus 125 against Juventus. I just think PSV is a better team. I think they lost by 1 goal against Juve earlier this week, but that was on one of the best shots that I've seen in a long time. So a little fluky, but I think coming back home, they'll get a win here. I don't know if it'll be enough to advance, but I think they can win. But yeah.
Fair enough. All right. I knew most of the names of those teams this time, so I'll take it, I suppose. I heard PSG. I'm like, oh, I've heard of them before. Paris Saint-Germain? No. So, and for me, that's...
Is he still playing for PSG? Or no, he's in the U.S. now, right?
Who?
Messi's not still playing for PSG.
No, he's in Miami.
He's at Miami FC, right?
Yeah.
So I thought so. I didn't know if he was still there. Still a funny thing that like USA is like, hey, old soccer folks, you want to come over here and kick it around for a while?
For retirement for soccer players after they're done playing in Europe is either like go to the MLS and play with Messi, or you just go to Saudi Arabia for like
and get paid an exorbitant amount of money to play games that don't probably make a lot of sense. So hey.
Or China if you like are weird and want to.
If you're weird,
I don't know.
Dalton.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna live in like, not a, if you're gonna compromise your morals for lots of money, I feel like you're better off doing it in the Gulf than over in China. That's just
you heard it here first, folks. No,
the weather in the Gulf states is just a lot nicer.
Well, on that note, no. Speaking of nations, though, 4 nations hockey going on right now. Yeah. So let's throw that up here next. We'll talk about that. Now, would I be lying to you if I told you I knew what this was before about 3 hours ago? Yes. However, did I bet on it?
I'm still not exactly sure what it is.
But did I pick bets anyway? I did, because why not? No, but in all seriousness, that tournament's going on again. I'm not entirely sure. Does anyone want to chime in on what this is supposed to be?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw that this is the replacement for All-Star Weekend.
Oh, is that what? So we're just dicking around.
They might still be
this
doing it, but this is it's like a 2-week break, and they're just having. Because these 4 countries are basically all of the best players.
That's what I kind of understood. So
I think that this. I really have the Sharks
minus Russia,
but yeah,
yeah. They have some stuff going on, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Talking about
I'm pretty sure this is the new All-Star Weekend thing though.
Which honestly, I don't necessarily hate the idea of that. I don't.
No, especially because they don't. I think they still don't let them play in the Olympics. So
is that still the case?
I'm pretty sure. So I think this is the first time some of them have played for their country in
What's up, Dalton?
a while, I think.
I think they've kind of gone back and forth. I think a couple Olympics ago they were still playing, but I don't think the last one they were.
I remember seeing that this is the first time that McDavid and Crosby are playing together for Canada.
Yeah, it kind of has.
So I want to say that it has been a while since it was, unless that one of them just wasn't available at the time or something. But I think it's been a while since they've been playing the Olympics, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think too, what's going to be really nice about this is, I think there's going to be a lot more competitiveness than your typical All-Star game.
Yeah, you would assume so. Yeah,
these guys are playing for their country.
Yeah,
the USA-Canada game is going to get intense.
For sure.
Just because, USA and Canada haven't played now in forever.
And there's some stuff going on there that I'm not going to talk about, so, between these two countries. So I'm sure there's some amount of animosity potentially.
They have this thing called the World Juniors, which is basically the only time countries play each other in hockey, and the USA just beat Canada in that.
Well,
in December.
Yeah, who knows how long this 4 nations thing will work though if one of these countries becomes the 51st state.
3.5 nations.
All right, Dalton. All right.
It's just going to be 3 nations.
There it is. We did the thing. Anyway.
Had to.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
can find a bet on that somewhere.
Unfortunately, that probably
That
exists,
would be.
and I would rather it not. Um, but anyway,
Look
I
at both.
believe that Canada is winning as of right now in the first game, but I'm not 100% sure. So one of you could correct me on that, but
I am finding.
You can bet on Greenland becoming a state.
okay.
I'll leave it at that because I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. But
Yeah,
the odds are plus 600, which I thought
that
was
is too high for me to enjoy.
Plus 600.
Canada is winning 3-1 over Sweden right now, by the way, and I'm just gonna
That's
we're just gonna
wild.
roll right on past the Greenland thing.
yeah, my bad.
6-1.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm not gonna lie.
Bonkers.
It's not awesome, folks. I'm not afraid to say I'm not really about annexing places. It's not really my thing. So that's
Yeah,
the only thing I'm gonna say
we
about that.
yeah,
I think I'm just gonna leave that one out
I
there.
will agree with you. And
Yeah.
not bad. No more Greenland talk on the.
No, it's fine. I just throw that out there, just to make that pretty clear. Between the 51st state and the Greenland situation, I'm just gonna make sure that's very clear from my
We'll just move on.
But anyway, picks for the Four Nations tournament. I'll just throw it out there. I have the USA winning. I have USA minus 1.5 against Finland, and Canada winning the thing outright. Those are my picks that I have for that. So.
Yeah, I only took a future. I just took USA to win the tournament at plus 150, and simply because America.
Right, which
that was literally the only reason.
It's fair enough. Yeah, I almost did that, and then I was like, I don't know if I really want to do that right now. I'm not feeling it currently, but still, I get that. I get that idea. Or yeah, Jake, with that, do you have any bets for that?
All right, I got. So for USA and Finland tomorrow, I got USA minus 1.5. I think they're much better than Finland.
Mm-hmm.
Sweden and Finland, I do have Finland plus 145 for the money line, just because Sweden does not look good against Canada today.
Yes,
so that
looks like it's been pretty rough.
Yeah. USA and Canada, I got USA money line minus 102. I think they're just a little bit better than Canada, and to round that out, I also took Team USA to win it all. I just think they're a little bit better. I think Canada has usually always been better at hockey, but just I don't know. The World Juniors, USA has won twice in a row, and those are younger players. But I mean, I don't know. I think the country has just gotten better at hockey over the last 5 years.
Which I think, even from someone who hasn't followed the NHL closely recently, I think I tend to agree with that. But also, I ultimately went with Canada because I think that when the two teams are very comparable, I'll take the team that has the best player in the sport on it, which I still think is McDavid.
Yeah,
so that's kind of what it comes down to. Also, a little bit of maybe Penguins bias with Crosby on the team. So maybe
it's hard to bet against McDavid and Crosby on the same team.
So but. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But again, I'm not watching enough hockey in recent years to really do that with any sort of actual analysis. So just throw that out there. But let's do our because I think all of us have golf picks. Is that right for both of you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's get into PGA here then. Don, why don't you kick us off? What you got for the Genesis Invitational this week?
Yeah, coming off a rough weekend now, officially in the red on golf this year. So we gotta get it sorted out here. But I got a different approach this time. I'm not just taking a winner and a parlay. I'm kind of mixing it up a little bit. So I got a few more picks.
Okay.
So my outright winner is Colin Morikawa at plus 1,600. I just think he's been playing decently well, and he plays this tournament really well. He's pretty consistently a high finisher at Torrey Pines, and I think this is going to be just one of those early season tournaments that he gets a win at. However, another guy that I think will be in the mix that I have taken top 5 is Hideki Matsuyama at plus 360. I like betting on him. He's so consistent. And this is a tournament that he plays really well, and he's a winner. And I think he's a guy that is going to be hanging around at the top of the leaderboard. Another guy historically plays as well. Will Zalatoris to finish top 10 at plus 320. He's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, but been playing pretty well lately. I think this is going to be one of those weekends that he kind of really just shows up. And then finally, I do have a 3-pick top 20 parlay. Taking some younger guys here. You meet Maverick McNeely.
Okay.
What a name.
Maverick McNeely playing good golf lately. Robert McIntyre also playing really good golf lately. And another guy who's also playing really good golf lately, Justin Thomas. So 2 young guys and Justin Thomas. And that parlay is at plus 693 for those 3 to finish top 20.
There you go.
Nice.
What do you got for this week, Jake?
I only got 3 picks. 2 of them are ones that Dalton also had. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
Well, it's either going to be really good or really bad, it looks like. So
yeah.
hopefully, hoping for good.
I got I also like Colin Morikawa to win at plus 1,600. I just think this is really good odds for someone who's played this course really well in the past. I think
The value is tremendous.
yeah, and he's been pretty good to start the year. So yeah, at plus 1,600, I just like it. He's playing well right now. He's played well at this course. I think those are pretty solid odds. And I have the exact same analysis for Hideki Matsuyama, who I'm taking to get top 10 at plus 160, which I also feel like is really good value because he won this tournament last year.
Plus odds
Yeah.
on top 10 for him is really good. I don't see any way he doesn't finish top 10.
Yeah, especially at 160. He won the tournament last year. He's playing, as Dalton said, very consistent golf right now. That also just feels like good value. And then third, I'm just taking Scotty Scheffler top 5 at minus 120. Just feels free. Yeah.
I'm surprised how poorly Scheffler did last week whenever Dalton, I think you had him to win, right? He was an overwhelming favorite to win, too.
Yeah. I mean, he owns the waste management.
Right, I know. Historically.
He dominates that course. So that was weird. I still think he'll get it together, but I am weary of him lately with the way he's come out of the gate in 2025. Something to keep an eye on. For now, though, like he's still Scotty Scheffler, but
Right.
something to keep an eye on if he doesn't get it together soon.
Gotcha. But, yeah, I wanted to throw out, so last week, again, not a golf guy, at least not in recent times, but I did do relatively well on my golf picks. I didn't get the winner. I think I chose, was it Thomas, actually, I think last week to win, potentially. But I did get, I took Thomas to win last week in the tournament, and then I had Wyndham Clark and Jordan Spieth both finished top 20 for me in my top 20, but Webb Simpson did not. He had a rough go of it. So still 2 for 3 on that. Take that. This week, I have McIlroy plus 650 to win. Just got a win already this year. He feels like he's in really good form. We'll see kind of how he plays. As far as top 20, I have Shane Lowry at plus 135. Played very well at this tournament historically. I'm rolling with Spieth still. His returns on this tournament in particular haven't been quite as good as Lowry's, but he just came off of one of his best finishes in a long time. Looks healthy for sure. And then Justin Rose plus 300 top 20. I think he played really well, and I think it was the 2 tournaments ago that I picked him to finish top 20.
Yeah.
It was very good in that tournament.
Yeah, that was great.
Really good tournament for him. And he also did much better at that tournament historically than he's done at this one, I think. overall. But I think plus 300 for a guy like him to finish top 20, I'll take that. So that's what I have for the Genesis Invitational this week. So
I like those picks. I was very tempted to pick Lowry this week.
yeah, it just feels like that was the one that was enough like plus odds where I'm like, he's done really well at this tournament. Looking at the betting profiles for these guys, I'm like, that feels pretty easy for me. And obviously, Spieth is just playing good golf right now, especially last week. So I'll roll with him again here. So,
Yeah.
and then I did want to double check. I think is it Dalton? Do you have racing bets? Did you say you had?
Yeah, we got Daytona bets.
Gotcha. Okay, so you can.
Oh.
I want to let you finish that here. So as well.
I totally forgot the Daytona 500 was this week.
Gotcha.
Jake racing to
Yeah, racing
I'm
to
gonna
pick
find
something.
I'm gonna find something.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I'll let Dalton go, and you can look for stuff while he's doing that.
Take
So,
my time
Here you
here. So I've got an outright winner, and I've got a 3-pick top 10
go. All
parlay.
right.
So I've got William Byron to win at plus 1,600. Won it last year. And this just feels like way too good a value for the defending Daytona 500 winner. And he's someone that I do think, like, if the big one doesn't catch him, if he finishes the race, he's going to be in the mix.
Mhm.
Also, last year he won it on a Monday after a rain delay. Very big possibility we get that again
Ooh.
this year.
Okay.
So that, similar track conditions could be in play there. And yeah, I think he's really solid bet this week. And then my top 10 guys that have historically done well at this track and are also just racing pretty well. Lately, it did well last week at the Clash. I've got Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Chris Buescher, all to finish top 10 at plus 366. So most of those guys individually all three of them have minus odds to finish top 10
I
individually.
figured with that. Yeah.
So they're favored to do so, but together they parlay with some decent value.
There you go. It's a good way to go about it. Until one of them inevitably like crashes or something, you're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Daytona.
Yeah.
At the super speedways, there's always one huge
Oh
wreck.
yeah. Even I
It never
even
fails,
I know
at least
that, yeah.
one.
That's the part where I'm like, oh, something happened that I can. No, I was kidding. No. I love like whenever when I would see it on TV, like because I think it was a friend of mine's dad would watch it a lot, and when I'd be over, like, oh my god, are they turning left yet? Are they turning left? And he'd get so mad at me. It'd be so funny because he'd just be like, "It's not all it is." I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like God knows what it looks like to me. He's like, whatever, dude. No, so it's funny. But
That's why you gotta watch F1.
That was probably the best thing they've done. Yeah. Well, the best thing NASCAR's done is actually start to do a lot more like F1 type courses, a lot more rovals and just straight up road courses, street races, dirt races.
so like, I can get behind
doing that stuff.
I can
has
get
been
behind that more.
good for the sport.
Yeah.
For sure. Not that like the problem with NASCAR for me is like, as someone who understands what it takes to do things in sports, like it's never been about like, oh, I've never felt like, oh, I could do that or like anything close to that. It was more so just like it's still watching people go in an oval. Like that's still what it is to me because I'm not a fan. I wasn't brought up in it or anything like that. You know what I mean? So like when I see like F1 or other types of racing that's much more involved than that, I'm like, oh, this I can kind of get more into than NASCAR, but still very much respect those guys being able to do what they do in NASCAR. But yeah, but what do you have, Jake? You find something that you like?
Yeah, give me Todd Gilliland to win at plus 20.
Todd.
My 5 minutes of research that I did there told me that he led 16 laps in this race last year. And yeah, I'm gonna roll with that. I don't know much about NASCAR, and I just crammed this in, but that's my bet.
I'm sorry, Jake, but like when you said the 16 laps, like how many laps is Daytona, Dalton?
It's a lot. It's a lot more than 16. But my point is that he was
180. I want to say
180. Okay. Well, no, I'm not criticizing your pick. It's just when I thought of
that.
when you said it, I thought of the SpongeBob episode where it's like he's taking the driving test, and Mrs. Puff is like, "He asked her how many points he got, and she said 6." He's like, "And how many did I need to pass?" And she goes 6. And he's 100. Ah, shit. That's what it felt like when you said that. So,
I think it's 200.
Okay.
I think it's 200.
I thought it was something
2.5 mile track.
yeah, I thought it was something like that.
Mile race.
I thought it was something like 200 or so. So I was like, when you said that, I'm like, that's what I immediately thought of. So that's just funny to me. Anyway, no, any other bets you want to throw out there for Daytona?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, gotcha.
Wrong with that.
And then I believe all of us have college basketball picks. Is that right?
Yes.
I can.
Well, I didn't know if you did, Don. Well, Jake, you go ahead first. Then I know you have college basketball bets, so I'll let you start. I have a fun little one that because I haven't followed college basketball yet this year, but I did find something I thought would be fun. But you go ahead, Jake.
All right, I'm going. First one is Nebraska -1.5 against Maryland at plus 102, which I think is decent value anytime you get plus odds on the spread. I just think Nebraska is better. I have, for some reason, been like they've came on my TV a lot this year. Like when I was having.
Well, you should ask him to stop. Jesus Christ! I told him. I can see Dalton. He's like, God damn it.
Nah. I was laughing at something else.
I thought you were thinking the same thing.
I had another bad thought in my head.
Anyway, go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry. Oh man.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've just watched more of them than I would have wanted to this year. But they play nice basketball. I'm taking them -1.5. I think they're better than Maryland. And
right.
plus 102 is nice.
Yeah, plus odds on the team you think is better is always good.
Yeah. Heading over to the Big Sky.
Love the Big Sky.
Yeah, classic Big Sky. Northern Colorado -8.5 against Sacramento State because Sacramento State is god awful at basketball.
You would know, I imagine.
I have spent. I don't know why I'm watching this team play.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go somewhere. You know, you're like, I guess I gotta watch these people for the rest of my life.
God awful. 8.5 and Northern Colorado is actually like. I'm not just picking them because Sac State sucks. They're actually a pretty solid team. So 8.5 feels very gettable there. And then staying in the conference, I got Montana -4.5 against Idaho State. I just think they're a lot more than 4.5 points better than Idaho State, and they're getting them at home. But yeah, those three were all I have for college.
Fair enough. Dalton, if you need a little bit more time, I can do mine here next here.
Sure you can do yours.
Okay. Mine is very simple. I looked at the games that are being played tomorrow, and I said, how many of these teams did something very cool in the men's basketball tournament in recent years? And I found 3 that I know were Cinderella stories, and I'm going to go ahead and pick them in their games. UMBC -3.5 at home against Binghamton, which, hey, good for Binghamton. Didn't know that was the place. Loyal Marymount -11.5 at home against Pacific, just Pacific, which that's cool. Didn't know that was just like Pacific.
Oh, that's in Stockton. I don't think either of you would know where Stockton is, though. That's like right in the Central Valley, California.
Okay, I like that they're just Pacific.
It's like an hour south of me in Sacramento.
That's cool. Good for Pacific, I suppose.
And then, why they're only called Pacific.
That's what I was going to like. I just saw Pacific. I'm like, Pacific what? Ocean? Coast? What? Anyway. And then Oral Roberts.
Isn't Stockton like...
That's dumb.
Isn't Stockton like the hood?
Yeah. Yeah, you could parts of it.
Because that's where the Diaz brothers are from, right?
Yeah.
Nick and Nate Diaz.
Parts of it are very bad, but yeah. I mean, it's Central California. There's like good parts and bad parts. Central California is like either rich or the opposite.
So poor.
Yeah. I feel like those guys just make it seem like it's worse than it is.
Probably.
What, Stockton?
Yeah,
I'm
like the way the DS brothers talk about it.
nowadays it's not that bad, but there's been a lot of violence in
Gotcha.
Stockton in the past.
Fair enough.
And
But
it is
then
also
my
from
third,
the Pacific.
my third pick was Oral Roberts plus 13.5 at North Dakota State. And guess what? I don't know anything about any of these schools currently. I wouldn't be able to tell you their records. I wouldn't be able to tell you who plays for them. And I certainly wouldn't be able to tell you who the hell Pacific is, as we just talked about. So, but I've heard of all these teams. They've all done something interesting in the tournament at some point in the last like 7 or 8 years, I think it is. So that's what I'm going with. We'll see if it works out. Probably not.
That's
But-
terrific.
Yeah. I wanted to keep the themes. I know that Casey was doing the themes before with college basketball, so I'm like, I'll find one. That was the first thing I thought of.
There you go.
But you got anything, Dalton?
So I was gonna try to do some Big Ten matchups and just take whoever had plus odds, but I really
Okay.
only found one good one for this week. I'm taking Maryland money line at plus 110 at Nebraska.
Jake, he's taking the other side of your bet. What are you gonna do?
I can't believe we're on opposite sides of a random Thursday college basketball game.
Incredible stuff. Now one of you can be the winner or loser.
Yeah,
Now
One of us
Maryland and
wins.
Nebraska is going to be intense.
yeah.
You guys be watching like, God damn it, every time this team scores. No, that's funny.
Yeah,
that's
all
pretty
I
cool.
got.
Gotcha. All right. And then I wanted to get into NBA picks, which I think is just Jake and I that has NBA picks, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'll kick us off here. I have a 4-leg parlay. I am 7-2 picking NBA games this year so far. I had a rough week last week, mostly because the Celtics are the worst team against the spread in the history of the sport, in my opinion. Don't fact check me on that, but they're way too bad against the spread to be as good of a team as they are. Don't know what that's about, but they got beat by the Mavs. And then the Houston Rockets let me down, which feels like being a Houston Rockets fan for the most part, except for, I guess, this year and like 20-ish years, 30 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, I got the Warriors plus 1.5 at the Rockets. I think the Rockets are kind of in a downtrend. Warriors getting Butler into the mix is kind of, I think, gotten a little bit of a pep in their step. I like what they're doing there, so I'll take them. Even on the road, I got the Heat minus 2.5 at the Mavericks because their team died immediately after the trade. Like, everyone seems to be hurt now, it feels like, or every day I'm like, this player's hurt. I'm like, oh, it's a good thing you wanted to play defense, and like Anthony Davis and what's his name, one of their other centers goes down immediately. So that sucks for them. But I'll take the Heat there. Thunder minus 5 at Minnesota. Oklahoma City's been one of the best teams in the league and also one of the best teams against the spread. I think either the first or second best team against the spread this year, so I'll take them. And then the Clippers minus 8.5 at the lowly Utah Jazz. Jazz fans, I'm sorry that you exist, I guess. That's all I have to say about that. So, and that is, by the way, plus 1252 odds there. So
Nice. Yeah, we got a couple of the same picks. So let's see. I only have 3.
Mhm.
I'm taking the Pelicans plus 6.5 against the Kings. These two teams are playing right now, and the Kings are up by 8. So not showing an ability to put away the Pelicans. And tomorrow, especially coming off a back-to-back, which the Kings are terrible on back-to-backs. I think they could still win because the Pelicans are bad, but I think 6.5 might be a little much. I think if they win, it will be like a last-minute win by like 2 points.
Gotcha.
I'm going Heat minus 1.5 against Dallas also. I do think the Heat, they got worse after the Jimmy Butler trade, but I think the Mavericks got significantly worse after the Luka trade, especially with Anthony Davis injured now, because now
they have nothing.
Now
they
you
have
don't
none
have
of the things that they like. Yeah, none of the things that they got that they traded them for. So.
Yeah, I watched him play the Kings the other day, and it's just Kyrie and like Rico Gafford.
Yeah, it's not
Rico
great.
Gafford. Isn't that?
I
wasn't
might
that
have. I might have.
Daniel Gafford is who I think you're thinking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Rico Gafford
Rico
was a tight
Gafford
end, I
was
think,
a-
for the Cowboys briefly and a college basketball.
And the Raiders. Played for the Raiders briefly.
Was he for the Raiders too?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
Why-
there you
It's
go.
like-
Daniel Gafford.
Big wide receiver and
The
punt
Raiders in
returner.
my brain just put Rico Gafford in front of it. That's funny. I didn't even remember him either until you just said that. But apparently my subconscious did.
Raiders haven't played a game in 2 months, and they still find a way to creep into the betting show.
Yeah, nice Rico
That's
Gafford
impressive.
mention.
I was thinking of someone. I was even thinking of someone else too. I was thinking of a different player, but now I remember Rico Gafford. Yeah, good for him. Iowa Western Community College. Good for him.
That's
Switched
not
to
a real
cornerback
school.
briefly.
Yeah,
Apparently.
I remember that. Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Not
But
good at football.
nice pull. Nah, hey, he's really good at football, just not really good at NFL football. Remember, we always got to remember.
True.
You always got to remember, if you played an NFL snap, you're damn good at football. You just might not be
Yes.
that good at football. That's
Yes.
all. That's all I got to say there. So
Yeah.
certainly better than me. So that's all. That's all I can really say about that. But no. Anything else there, Jake?
Yeah, I had one more. I just had the Clippers minus 7.5 against the Jazz.
Okay.
The Jazz are just.
Yeah, the Jazz they're not
don't-
interested in playing basketball. They're interested in being in every
They're
trade
not
that
interested
happened at the
in
deadline.
rebuilding either.
I don't really know what they're trying to do, honestly.
I think they just traded John Collins, but they have Laurie Markkinen and
Yeah, he's still on the team for some
Robert
reason.
Kessler. They're not trading either of them. I don't know. Like they're just.
Like
they're
Kessler, I can
keeping-
understand because he's still younger even than Markkinen,
Yeah.
and he was a draft pick that they traded.
But why are
Griffin's
you not
actually
trading
good.
Markkinen?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you can win 12 games and be 13th in the Western Conference. I don't.
And then
I
also
don't
like
understand.
probably end up with like the 7th pick or something. I don't know what's gonna be. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
Keep Cooper Flag away from the Mormons, please. Please do that if you can. No.
I want the Sixers to just tank for him so bad.
Oh, I know you do, Dalton.
It'd be
I know
so
you
much fun. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah, and then maybe if you have Cooper Flag, Joel Embiid will play 40 games instead of 15 next year because he'll want to play and also he'll have an incentive to play. No,
A front court of Joel Embiid and Cooper Flag though would be unstoppable.
Oh yeah, it'd be very fun for the 32 games they played.
Oh my God. I just looked at I haven't looked at the Eastern Conference standings in quite a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, just tank for Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
not great.
The problem is they don't have their first round pick unless they're in the top 6. So like it works out that they should just fully tank.
Yeah. They shouldn't win another game
Protect
for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah, just quit.
they're
on this.
teetering on they're still teetering on playing though. You got to get out of that play-in range, man.
That's what the Kings are doing too. I think their pick is top 12. Like you have to be top 12 to get it, but they're
Right
like,
now they're the 9th seed right now, tied with the Warriors. Yeah. The Suns, by the way, since we're talking about NBA, what?
at least my team isn't the Suns.
Yeah, why are the Suns the way they are?
I think the Suns might be in the worst
like
position right now.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how you become the Suns, frankly. Like I don't really know how that works. Also, nobody's doing it like the Wizards, folks. Nobody's doing it like the Wizards are doing it. I'll tell you that much. Good Lord. That's tough.
Yeah.
We're like not quite 2/3. We're about 2/3 of the way through the season. They're 35 games back of the 1 seed.
God.
That's hard to do in the NBA. That's real hard to do. Now I know the Cavs really good record of 44-10, but that's hard to do, folks. That takes commitment to being bad.
They're
No.
4 games back from being the second, or I'm sorry, 3 games back of the second worst team in the league.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not. It's not great, and they're 3-7 in the last 10, so they're
There's-
doing better than
They're
normal.
13 games out of the play-in.
Yeah, the play-in,
That's
folks.
crazy.
You're not supposed to be 13 games out of the play-in.
If you're
Even
double
really,
digits out of the play-in, that's
like even
it's
really
a
at the end of the
problem.
season, you're not really probably supposed to be 13 games out of the play-in. We got games to go. That gap could get wider, and they're going to end up picking 5th because you know that's
Yeah.
how it's going to work. It's going to be like the Pistons every time they were just the worst team we've ever seen. They're like, hey, here's the 5th pick, Pistons. Good luck with that. And Detroit's like, ah, man, what the hell are we doing this for? And at least
They're gonna give the Spurs the first pick again.
if the Spurs get the first pick again, I think at this point, like when people were saying that, like when they got Victor, that it was rigged, I'm like, all right, guys, if that happens another time, then I might be like, all right, maybe there's something's going on, maybe.
Yeah.
The NBA only likes their big markets and successful small markets.
Yeah.
Like the Spurs. The Spurs are a good small market NBA team.
Yeah. So, but any other picks you guys got before we get out of here?
No.
No, I'm all good.
Yeah, I think that takes care of it for this week. A little bit of a shorter show than usual. Obviously, one less person to talk about their bets, so obviously helps out a little bit. But we'll try to get into some more like future stuff, I think, next week, and then baseball is going to be coming up here, obviously too. So we'll have that. NHL is going to be on a break for a while, I know, so we'll kind of wait for that. But there'll be stuff to bet on. We'll be doing it. Yeah, then it'll be March. So, God, yeah. No, the year's going a little too quick for me at this point, but we'll not dwell on that too much. But that'll do it for us this week, guys. Thank you for joining us. Again, this was episode number 74. We're getting up to eventually we might, if we hit 100, we'll have to do something for that. I don't know what it would be, but we'll have to do something for that this year at some point.